जब इतना बड़ा मैच आता है तो आखिरकार तैयारी सबकी उतनी होती है, प्लेयर्स भी बढ़िया रहते हैं, तो आखिरकार ये प्रेशर को एब्जॉर्ब करना और खुल के खेलना, इसी बात पर सब निर्भर होता है।
हाँ देखिए, पहले गेम से लेके आखिरी गेम तक जो लास्ट गेम हमने बेंगलोर में खेला, लीग मैच हो, सेमीफाइनल हो, फाइनल हो, जब भी आप वर्ल्ड कप का गेम खेलते हो प्रेशर रहता ही है। ये जाहिर सी बात है, क्योंकि वर्ल्ड कप वर्ल्ड कप होता है, इसीलिए प्रेशर होता है वर्ल्ड कप का। बट देखिए, हमने पिछले 9 गेम में काफ़ी उस चीज़ को हमने काफ़ी अच्छे तरीके से हैंडल किया है। पहले गेम से लेके लास्ट गेम जो अभी हमने खेला बेंगलोर में, लड़कों ने अच्छा रिस्पांस दिया उस चीज़ को लेकर। हम लोग सिर्फ हमारे गेम के ऊपर फोकस कर रहे थे। हमें अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलना था, जो हमने किया। आगे भी दोनों मैच जो है हमारा ध्यान उसी चीज़ पे होगा, अच्छा क्रिकेट खेलना है। क्योंकि देखिए, इंडिया में आप इंडियन क्रिकेटर हो तो चाहे वो कोई भी फॉर्मेट हो, कोई भी टूर्नामेंट हो, प्रेशर रहता ही है। क्योंकि हर जगह से आपको एक ही आवाज़ सुनने में आता है कि मैच जीतना है, कल 100 रन बनाना है, 5 विकेट लेना है। तो ये जितने भी लड़के हैं, भले वो 200-250 मैच खेले हो या 5 या 10 मैच खेले हो, उनको हर ये चीज़ से गुजरना ही पड़ता है। तो आई थिंक इन टर्म्स ऑफ प्रेशर, आई थिंक ये एकदम मैंडेटरी हो जाता है इंडियन क्रिकेटर्स के लिए कि प्रेशर तो रहता ही है। बट इट इज़, हमने इतना कोशिश किया इतने सालों में अभी, ये कि उस चीज़ को हम साइड में रखेंगे और हमारा जो गेम है, जो स्ट्रैटेजी है, जिस तरीके से हमको खेलना है, उस पर ज़्यादा फोकस करने की ज़रूरत है। क्योंकि जो बाहर से जो होता है वो होता ही रहेगा, वो रुकेगा नहीं। तो हमारे लिए ज़रूरी ये है कि हम गेम के ऊपर फोकस करें। जो भी चैलेंजेस ऑपोजिशन के सामने से आने वाले हैं, उस चीज़ पे फोकस करें।
सब लोग बात कर रहे थे 5 बॉलिंग ऑप्शन है, कम है, किसी दिन किसी का ऑफ डे ना हो जाए तो फंस जाएंगे। आपने सब सारा खत्म कर दिया, 9 बॉलिंग ऑप्शन करा दिए एक ही मैच में आपने एक साथ।
नहीं देखिए, हमने कोशिश हमें करना था ये कि जब भी हार्दिक इंजर्ड हो गए थे तो हमारा कॉम्बिनेशन चेंज हो गया। और उसके बाद, उसके पहले भी हम पूरे टूर्नामेंट में, इवन गेम नंबर 1 से लेके हमारा कोशिश यही था कि हम बाकी लोगों से कैसे बॉलिंग कराए, कब कराए। सिचुएशन आना भी ज़रूरी था। लास्ट गेम में वैसा सिचुएशन आ गया जहाँ पे हम ट्राई कर सकते थे कुछ चीज़ों को लेकर। तो अच्छा है, आई मीन ऑप्शंस है, बट आई होप ज़रूरत ना पड़े उस चीज़ की।
Rohit, happy Diwali.
हैप्पी दिवाली।
Uh, we as media, we talk about history, what happened in the last match before that. Do you guys think about history when you get into the field or before, while preparing? Do you think of what happened in the last World Cup, what happened in the World Championship final, or you just completely set aside and focus on this match? How does your preparation go?
No, honestly, I mean, look, that's the beauty of this team. Half of the guys uh, were not even born when we won our first World Cup. And then when we won our second World Cup in 2011, half of the guys were not even playing the game. So I mean, for us, this current crop of players, they're very much into what is happening today, what can happen tomorrow. Those are the things they try and focus on. They really, I don't see them talking about, how we won the last World Cup, how we won our first World Cup. The focus is on how they can get better as a player, what they can bring to the team, and what are the things they need to improve. So that's the beauty of the crop of players we have at this point in time. The focus is always on the present, and that I believe is a very very good thing. Going into a tournament like this, game number 1, the focus has always been on what we can achieve today. What you achieve today sets you up for what you can achieve tomorrow. So I think the crop of players that we have is very much focused on that process.
How about you or Virat, the experienced crop? I mean, people who have played this 4 years ago, played them, in between played them. What about you guys?
No, I think it's very, you obviously in the back of your mind, you know what has happened in the past. But what has happened in the past is the past. What you can do today, what you can do tomorrow, is what we usually talk about. So I don't think there's much debate or much talk about what happened 10 years ago or 5 years ago or the last World Cup as well.
रोहित भाई, हमने एशिया कप से लेके इस पूरे वर्ल्ड कप में देखा है एक टीम एनवायरनमेंट बहुत अच्छा बन चुका है, जिस तरह से बेस्ट फील्डर को प्राइज़ दिया जाता है और जितनी भी एक्टिविटीज़ हो रही हैं जो शायद हमने पहले नहीं देखी थी। तो एक जो नया माहौल बना है उसके बारे में आपका क्या कहेंगे आपकी लीडरशिप में?
नहीं, देखिए, इस चीज़ पे हमारा कॉन्शियस एफर्ट रहा है कि टीम का जो एनवायरनमेंट है रिजल्ट्स के ऊपर से चेंज नहीं होना चाहिए। जो हमें एनवायरनमेंट टीम के आसपास क्रिएट करना है या टीम में क्रिएट करना है वो हमें करना है, वो मैंडेटरी है। और इसमें एक या दो लड़कों से ये काम नहीं हो सकता है, पूरे लड़कों को साथ में मिलकर आना ज़रूरी है, इंक्लूडिंग द सपोर्ट स्टाफ। तो जैसे हम धर्मशाला में थे, हमें 5 या 6 दिन का ब्रेक था, वहाँ पर हम 2 दिन धर्मशाला में रहे। वहाँ पे हमने काफ़ी टीम एक्टिविटी किए, एक फैशन शो भी हुआ, पर वो किसी को पता नहीं है, बट वो अच्छी बात है, बाहर किसी को पता नहीं चला है। नहीं नहीं, वो नहीं बता सकता हूँ, कुछ चीज़ें रहने दो यार हमारे पास भी। तो ये सब जो एफर्ट है, इससे ही माहौल, जो टीम का एनवायरनमेंट जो हमेशा बात करते, यही वो एनवायरनमेंट है जहाँ पे हम काफ़ी रिलैक्स्ड रहना पसंद करते हैं और सारे लड़कों को ये चीज़ काफ़ी पसंद है। बिकॉज आपको पता है, जब आप ग्राउंड के अंदर आ जाओगे तो प्रेशर रहेगा, परफॉर्मेंस का प्रेशर रहेगा, मैच जीतने का प्रेशर रहेगा, वो चेंज नहीं हो सकता है उतना, क्योंकि एक बार जब आप ग्राउंड पे पहुंच गए, इट इज़ देन अप टू द इंडिविजुअल्स हाउ दे वांट टू टेक इट फॉरवर्ड। बट उसके पहले जो चीज़ हम कर सकते हैं टीम का जो एनवायरनमेंट है उसको ईजी रखने के लिए, वो हमने काफ़ी किया इस टूर्नामेंट में। और देखिए, टीम का जो एटमॉस्फेयर है वो काफ़ी अच्छा है, काफ़ी रिलैक्स्ड है, तो ये अच्छी चीज़ है। नहीं, देखिए, अभी आप जैसे हम लास्ट वर्ल्ड कप में ऑस्ट्रेलिया में गए थे, वहाँ पे भी हमने शुरुआत वैसे ही किए थे। हम 10 या 15 दिन पहले वहाँ पर पहुँचे थे ऑस्ट्रेलिया में, और पर्थ में वहाँ पे हमने छोटा सा कैंप लगाया था 7 या 8 दिन का। और वहाँ पर भी हमने एक आइलैंड है पर्थ के बिल्कुल पास में, हम वहाँ पर गए, थोड़ा क्रिकेट से दूर गए। तो जहाँ जहाँ मौका मिलता है वहाँ पर हम कोशिश करते हैं कि ऐसे एक्टिविटी किया जाए, टीम का एनवायरनमेंट थोड़ा सा लाइट रखा जाए। तो और ये ऐसे नहीं कि अभी 2 साल में ही हो रहा है, ये पहले भी होता था, बट अभी आई डोंट नो, अभी ज़्यादा दिख रहा है या आई डोंट नो।
Rohit, it's not an easy job to be the Indian captain. A lot of things go on in your head, and right now when you reflect back, look back as an individual, little boy playing at this ground. Now you'll be leading the side out in the semi-final. So do you get time to reflect on your individual journey as well? How special it is going to be, and how close you are getting to that unfinished business you spoke about in Chennai?
I don't think there is so much time to think about it. The focus is on the game, what we have in hand tomorrow. I seriously have no time to think about my journey, what it has been in the past. Probably after 19th November I'll think about it. But right now it's just business and pure business of getting the job done for the team. You know, obviously, it's such a high-profile tournament. Everybody is watching, and you want to display good cricket as Indian team, and that is what we've done in this tournament so far, which is very, very good. But again, we know the importance of this week. For us, we don't really have to change too much. Be in that same mindset as we were before the start of the World Cup.
Rohit, at the start of the World Cup, when you were asked about the unfinished business, you said you don't want to be desperate and finding a balance, and you also need a little bit of luck through the tournament. You're here to win 2 games away from winning the World Cup as a captain. How does you reflect on that part of it?
No, see, I mean, getting to the getting through to the qualifying stage, then the semis, and then the finals. There are processes that you have to do because in the league games you have 9 games that you have to play well to qualify. So our first focus obviously was to qualify from the league stages through to semi-finals. And 9 games, 9 games is a lot of games. Literally 2 or 3 bilateral series, to be honest. So you got to break it down into games, different venues. So you got to break it down into different strategies as well, different opposition you play. So yeah, for us it was all about how we can break it down into parts and then take it forward. And when you're playing 9 games, 9 different opposition, 9 different venues, you got to adapt to different strategies, policies, ideas, methods of getting the job done for the team. And I think we did that really well. The first of the tournament, if you see, I think we chased the first 4 5 games, and then the next 4 games we batted first. So I think in terms of the areas that we wanted to cover, I think we've covered almost every bit of it. But again, we, like I said, we do understand the importance of this week. But for us, I don't think we need to do anything different from what we've been doing in this tournament. There will be challenges thrown at you at different stages of the game. You just got to respond. You just got to front up and get through that situation.
Rohit, sorry. New Zealand probably gave you one of your toughest games in the group phase. What's impressed them? Or what have you been impressed by their play?
Yeah, look, I mean, overall, whenever we've come up against New Zealand, obviously, probably the most disciplined team in terms of how they want to play the game. And, they play their cricket very smartly. They understand the oppositions quite well. Having played, with a lot of our players in different stages of their careers, different tournaments, they do understand the mentality of the opposition, and it is the same for us as well. But yeah, I mean, whenever we've played against them, the most disciplined team, I would say. And yeah, I mean, you know, uh, they've been very consistent for so many years now, playing semi-finals and the finals of probably all ICC tournaments in the last, I don't know, maybe 6 7 years from 2015 onwards, if I'm not wrong. So yeah, we do understand what they bring to the table and how they play their cricket. We've been closely following all the teams as to where their strength lies, where their weaknesses lies, and based on that, we try and go out there and play the game.
I just want to ask a little bit about, this World Cup. Do you think the ICC ODI World Cup still has as much importance as the other World Cups, T20 or the World Test Championship? And how has it gone this tournament? Like rough, smooth? Or there are things that you think as a captain that need to be looked into?
No, I mean, look, for me, the 50-over World Cup is the top of the table. I've said it at the start of it. I am not somebody who's going to, say this format is better than that format, because for me, all three formats is equally important, because you're playing for your country in all these formats. And it's a very rare privilege that anyone can have of playing for your country. So I don't believe in prioritizing X, Y, Z. I think all three formats to me is equally important, and in the tournaments, as in this tournament as well, you've seen it. Like, it's been a fantastic tournament without a doubt. A lot of teams have come through. A lot of teams have challenged opposition, and that clearly shows that ranking doesn't matter. To be honest, anyone can beat anyone on that particular day. If you don't show up well, if you don't play to your potential, teams will beat you. So you got to be ready for it, and we saw it in this tournament that every team is capable, and at the end of the day, you're talking about the World Cup, so every team will come fighting hard to get that victory. So I think it's been a fantastic tournament.
Hello, Rohit. How much important toss? How much important toss will be actually, because in this, especially in this venue, the first innings score is 350 plus, and the second innings score is less than half. And excepting Max's miraculous innings, all of the team who batted first won. So how much important the toss is?
Yeah, look, I mean, honestly, I've played a lot of cricket here. This 4 or 5 games is not going to tell a lot about what Wankhede is. I don't want to talk too much about what Wankhede is. But yeah, I certainly believe that toss is not the factor.
Right, you said you don't want to talk too much about, I don't want to think too much about what happened in the previous semi-finals, but did you learn anything in those games last year against England, last time against New Zealand, or before that, that you might want to implement as captain tomorrow?
Yeah, no, obviously, when you don't come through, obviously there's a lot of learnings, what went wrong, what as a team we could have done better, and things like that. But obviously now it's a completely different setup, different set of players as well from what it was in 2019. Uh, so yeah, obviously we have taken our learnings from the previous World Cups. But again, like I said, there were different individuals in that game, different individuals now. So I think things are moving pretty well at this point in time, and we would just like to continue in that fashion. Again, like I said before as well, what has happened in the past is not going to determine too much about what will happen tomorrow.
हाय रोहित भाई, ऑल द बेस्ट फॉर सेमीफाइनल.
Thanks.
रोहित भाई, जब भी कोई बड़ा मैच होता है, जैसे नॉकआउट मैच होता है, क्या आप एज ए कैप्टन आपको भी स्लीपलेस नाइट होती है कि कल क्या होगा, मैं कैसे खेलूंगा, ये दिमाग में चलता है क्या पूरी रात भर?
नहीं, देखिए चलता है, इसीलिए अ, मैं अकेला नहीं रहता हूँ, फैमिली है साथ में, तो माइंड यहाँ वहाँ चला जाता है, विच इज़ अ वेरी गुड थिंग. जब मैं होटल में अपने रूम में चला जाता हूँ, वी completely stay away from cricket. We discuss a lot of other things. तो ये अच्छी बात है. क्रिकेट के बारे में आप काफ़ी सोचते हो, यस, बट जब आपका टाइम है कि आपको मौका है कि आप नहीं सोचो, तो नहीं सोचना चाहिए, क्योंकि आप पूरा दिन सोच के भी आप क्या हो जाएगा. तो इसीलिए ज़रूरी है कि जब मौका है कुछ और सोचने का, तो और कुछ और सोचिए.
Well, you've been part of many Indian teams where you've played with many of the greats. From your point of view, is this the most dominant Indian team that you've been part of in terms of balance, form, and performance?
See, I was not part of the 2011 World Cup, which we won. I was part of 2015 and 2019. I thought, very hard to say which team was better and which team wasn't. Eventually it's the Indian team, so I'm not going to say the 2019 was better than 23 or 2015. I think what you can see from this team, all I can say is, the roles are pretty clear for each and every one of them, and they exactly know what to go out there and do. And it makes a little easier for the players as well to understand what is expected out of them and what role they need to perform. I'm not saying the role clarity was not there in 2019, because I was not the captain, I was not part in that main discussions of, when you assign a role, there's mainly captain and coach decides what he wants from XYZ players. So I was not part of that. Obviously, I am now, which I think, it's pretty clear as to what we want, each individual to go out there and do for us. So I think in terms of rating the teams, it's very. I don't think it will be the right thing for me to do that or say this is a dominant team. I think all teams I was part of, I think they were quite dominant. That is what I would say. But yeah, you got to be now the time has come that you need a little bit of luck as well to go your way. Obviously, we're going to be brave enough, and hopefully, fortune favors the brave.
Rohit, I want to ask you about Kuldeep Yadav and the Dharamshala game against New Zealand, where they put him under pressure, but he came back really strongly through the second half of his spell. Uh, that performance and, what Kuldeep was in 2019 and now, like as a captain, how his resilience and like how much he's come on as a player. Could you talk about that a bit?
Yeah, Kuldeep obviously, missed out on few games in between, but since he's made a comeback, you see a different sort of Kuldeep in terms of his attitude. Wants to, front the situation, front the challenge, take the responsibility upon him. All those kind of things. I mean, I can clearly see with him. He's not afraid to get hit because like you mentioned about that particular game was a perfect example where the batters were trying to put him under pressure, but he eventually got those couple of wickets for us. um, you know th- with him, he's like, it doesn't matter that he goes for runs, but his job, he knows that he has to go out there and get the team into good situations, try for breakthroughs if there's a partnership, and yeah, is not afraid of being getting hit, and that's the beauty of spin bowling. I think if you're afraid, then things doesn't fall in place in terms of the strategy of the team as well. You don't mind getting hit in few overs, but the will to come back and finish off really strong is what matters, and that is what he did in Dharamshala. They were in good position at one point, and they probably ended up getting 270 to 280 between that. Uh, so that was a good comeback in the last 10 overs. So I mean, like we always say, the game is not over till the last ball is bowled. So even though you get hit for few boundaries, few sixes here and there in few overs, there are 10 overs, 60 balls that you have to bowl and you have to come back, and that is the attitude that Kuldeep has. Even if he is put under pressure at the beginning, he knows he has to come back and he will come back.
Hey Rohit, firstly, what is the mantra or like a principle that you swear by as a leader in your dressing room, being one of the senior most players in the dressing room, and something that you particularly do for sure as a leader? Second, if you look back at the campaign so far, what's the one moment, possibly on the sideline, something off the field, that probably brings the widest smile on your face?
Um, I mean, I don't have a mantra as such. I just believe that as a captain, if you've decided that this is how you want to play as a team, then there needs to be a clarity amongst the team. And then if a certain player wants to go out there and play in the way that you want him to play, then you got to back that player to the hilt. And that is what we've done. We've backed certain players because we've given them a different role, and if they perform the role, well and good. But even if they don't, which will not come off in every game, we got to back that player and tell him that we stand by you. And that is something that I believe in, and I want to do it as much as I can from my side. And also got to give credit to Rahul Bhai as well, to buy into that thought of not changing too much when the player doesn't come off with that plans. So yeah, that is something that we have stuck by right from the beginning, and we will continue to do that even in the future as well. But yeah, that is something that I feel is quite important, and giving freedom to each player to go out there and perform their role. That is also again another important aspect of the game and how you want to play as a team. So these are the two things: role clarity and giving the guys that freedom and going there and expressing themselves. One moment I would say probably was the last game where all four of us bowled. The crowd enjoyed pretty much, and I'm pretty sure the fans across the world who would have watched us bowl would have loved that as well.